What's up, everyone? This is the Osmo.com NHL Hit the Ice Show. We have 11 games to talk about for later this afternoon, actually. I guess it's a 7 Eastern lock. But first night back to normal slates did not go as expected. A lot of really bad hockey being played, at least what I watched. So that was, it should have been expected, but nothing really ended up panning out. So if you had a good night, congrats. You must have been on top of it, but I did not. But today is a new day, and we've got 11 games. I think there's actually a pretty good slate for tomorrow. Now that I'm thinking of it, I think there are a few games before the Super Bowl, and one game that's really good specifically. I think it's the Caps, and maybe it's the Bruins game tomorrow. But I'm kind of excited for just this weekend slate in general, just because we've got a good one today, and then there's 3 games tomorrow. So small slate, but definitely something that's going to be playable. So always like when that happens. And then you got the Super Bowl, of course, tomorrow afternoon or early evening. So it should be a good weekend, and hopefully we can end up making some money here. If anybody's watching this that made money last night, please let us know what the nuts were, because I'm still having trouble figuring out where I went wrong. Like looking at the slate last night, Calgary didn't do anything, so I knew my Calgary lineups were dead, but like the Tampa game stayed quiet. I felt like I was on top of that. Buffalo was okay. Skinner was good. Eichel, like no full stacks went off, I guess. Even the Blackhawks, Kane, Kane for sure. He had 12 DK points. I think he led the slate, outside of maybe Vasilevsky with the shutout. But like Kajula, if you left him, you were in big trouble. I don't know. Like, I kind of want to just look at what happened, because this slate, like a lot of games, but I like it when it's a lot of games, because you just go through some. Oops. What am I looking at here? All right, there we go. You just kind of take the good lines and don't really worry about ownership all that much. Let's see what I got here. I stopped checking the leaderboards pretty early last night because I knew I was buried. Didn't really have much Chicago. Yeah, I wasn't really on Chicago. Probably should have been. That's probably where I mostly went wrong. But like, man, Niederreiter just keeps crushing. Goes over from Minnesota, goes to Carolina, and just starts smashing everything. 5 shots on goal. Like, he's just aggressive, playing with better line mates. It's amazing what happens. Testosterone, of course, at the top. Yossi was big for sure, but I don't know. It just felt like a really weird slate. I don't know if you guys felt like the same. But still some familiar names up here. So I have similar styles to some of these guys, or at least kind of know what they do and try to replicate some of it. So I felt like I should have been better than what I was last night. Maybe I'm just rusty playing some of these bigger slates. So we've got, Kopitar is a game time decision. Illness, that's not really a game I'm concerned about anyways. So let's go with this. Haven't done a ton of line matching stuff just yet. Projections are out. Spotlight stacks are out. So I did look at some of the matching for those games specifically. There's a couple spots I like just running through a couple crunches. But going to go through very quickly and probably end this show hopefully around 12:30 Eastern. Make it quick. Usually smaller crew anyways on these Saturday shows, so I don't want to spend too much time talking about stuff this early, especially when we might have some news coming out later this afternoon. Some teams haven't even skated this morning. I would guess we're going to see some more sloppy play throughout the league. Although there are some teams on a back-to-back, I don't know what's going to happen. There's certainly an advantage to teams that are playing or teams that have played already. There's one spot in particular that I think is my favorite for a multitude of reasons, and they're in my spotlight stack, so you can read about it. But let's go through it, and it actually is in this game. Now that I'm looking at the screen, we've got the Anaheim Ducks and the Winnipeg Jets. Gibson expected to go against Hellebuck. I think Hellebuck is confirmed, actually. It is a very big Winnipeg one night for me. Connor Scheifele-Wheeler, they're 19-7 on DK. The numbers are a little bit concerning, like the Corsi for percentage, if you look at that kind of stuff, but they're just a really good line when you watch them. They're going to get a good matchup against Getzlaf or Kell. No matter who they've had on this line with them, even when it's been like a good player like Kasha, they've just been really bad defensively for basically the whole season. Whether it's Aberg or whoever they've had, they just can't seem to get it together defensively. So they're just decimated. And the Scheifele line is probably going to see mostly the Getzlaf line. If they, for some reason, decide to go with the Lowry line against Getzlaf, that's even better for Winnipeg 1. So I just don't see a reason not to play them. I don't think they're going to be all that chalky. There's a bunch of expensive lines, a bunch of home lines that people are going to pay for. So I'm really not worried about ownership here. And love the even strength matchup. Love the power play matchup. Winnipeg's power play at home is incredible. They were pushing 40% at one time. They're just so good on home ice. They've played 3 games since the All-Star break. So they played 3 games this week. Anaheim has not played in 10 days. So there's just, it just seems like such a good spot for Winnipeg 1 here. So we'll be living and dying by them tonight. I think I'm doing 20 lineups in that $40. And they're going to be on at least 5 or 6, I would say. Probably my highest exposed line of the night. There's one other line that's in their price range that I think could compete for my highest exposure tonight, but really love Winnipeg. All right, Nikita Kucherov fined. Okay, that doesn't really matter. I'm getting a bunch of notifications to my phone, but nothing too crazy. No Dustin Byfuglien, I believe, for this game. He was skating in a non-contact jersey, I think, this morning. So Daily Faceoff still has Trouba listed as power play 1, I believe, but it's been Morrissey. So, oh, what's up, Llama? You always come when no one's in here. Playing some NHL today? Are you? You should, if you're not. But yeah, Morrissey would be my preferred guy. He's been on the top power play. You can play Trouba. They're probably going to skate a bunch together at even strength with Winnipeg 1. But Morrissey has been getting that power play time with them. Nothing on Anaheim's side that I'm really looking at here. Limited lineups for Saturday. So, MMA today? Okay, that makes sense. You can play both. Oh my God, the Devils are without Hall, Zajac, and Vatanen. Jeez. That team, what a disaster. One player goes out. And people thought that the Devils were better without Taylor Hall, or they were pointing to the record in the short sample, whatever. Hall's the GOAT. But anyways, so it's all Winnipeg here, Winnipeg 1. That's good on that game. All right, let's go to the Penguins and the Maple Leafs. This should be a pretty fun one to watch. I think this is one of those where we've got 2 good teams. I think a pretty large range of outcomes here, as our buddy Homer Cleese would say. So it's going to be it's going to be Matt Murray going up against Garrett Sparks. I believe Sparks is actually already confirmed. DeSmith went last night for Pittsburgh, got a win, and now it's probably going to be Matt Murray, I would guess. So, Tavares line probably going to hard match against the Crosby line. Maybe not hard match. You might see the Matthews line get some time against them. I don't know what the Matthews line. I don't know why they've been so bad defensively. And I'm a little bit worried about them going up against Bukestad. Bukestad, kind of a solid player. I don't know if he's a huge downgrade defensively from Malkin. In fact, he's probably an upgrade defensively from Malkin. And I won't tell him, Llama. I won't tell him, but I got you. There's not enough people in the chat for that to get back to them anyways. So, all right, so we've got Tavares going up against Crosby. That basically crosses off the Tavares line for me. I do not want anyone going up against the Crosby line at this point. They've just been so good. Like, they've gotten the results. The underlying numbers are just absurd for this line. So if I think the Tavares line is going to see a lot of time against them, that crosses them off. I don't really like Tavares' line mates anyways. So for me here, it's probably going to be the Matthews-Marleau line. A little bit worried about their defensive numbers. Like I said, a little bit worried about the Bukestad matchup or what that really does for them. I'm not going to act like I'm some hockey expert. I don't know a ton about Bukestad's defensive game, but this matchup should be a good one for the Matthews line. I'm not getting to them a ton in projections right now. And with 20 lineups, it's going to be tough, especially when I like a couple of these pretty expensive lines. So I'm probably going to end up under the field in the Matthews line, which is scary in a 6.5 total game. But that's just how it's going to be. I don't know that I want a ton on the Pittsburgh side outside of Pittsburgh one, just because I said their numbers are just stupid right now. I want to take a quick look at how the Tavares line has been in their short sample. Yeah, they've been pretty good offensively. Defensively, man, 17.96 high danger chances against per 60, 35 scoring chances. So they're still under 45 minutes of time on ice, but they've been playing at a pretty ridiculous pace right now. So definitely puts the Crosby line in play for me and the Matthews line. So I don't think anything out of the ordinary here. Any sort of hot takes. If you want the Kadri line as a filler, I was getting to a little bit of them even with limited lineups tonight. New toy, Jake Muzzin at 5K. I don't know if he's going to play on the power play. He's not going to be in the top unit, so I'm not really interested there. And then Letang, you like defenseman here against the Maple Leafs. He'd be the obvious guy if you're going with the Crosby line. I think Gensel did play on the power play one last night, and it looks like DFO has him on the top power play as well. So very obvious play is the very obvious correlation play is to go with Letang with Crosby, Gensel, and Simone if you are so inclined. Morgan Riley, I guess he's fine as a correlation play, but I just much rather find the extra 400 and get up to Letang if I'm one-offing, or go down to some of these other guys, like someone in the next game. Detroit and Ottawa, man, I just cannot quit either of these two teams. The implied total here is 2.9 for Detroit, 3.1 for Ottawa. Probably going to be Bernier going up against Craig Anderson. It was Nilsson last night. It was Howard last night for Detroit. So you expect the backups to get going. Okay, and just as I'm saying that, Mike Babcock says he'll shuffle lines tonight to get a matchup set for the Sidney Crosby line. All right, let's go back to that. So Stryker in chat is saying that. What does that mean? Might be the end of the Matthews-Marner combo, yeah. So if they go back to Tavares with Marner, I usually just follow where Marner goes because he's playing with Tavares or Matthews. That's not a great shutdown line anyways, the Tavares line. It has been better than the Matthews line defensively, but it still makes me like the Crosby line quite a bit more than any other line in this game. So it doesn't really change a ton for me. Just keep an eye out for for the lines. Like the Tavares line is probably going to see Crosby regardless. It's just a matter of who's on his line and who else is left over. All right, so this Detroit game, two teams that suck, but I play a lot. I'm playing a lot of the Colin White line here. They're the best value on the slate for me. I think they're going to get a really good even strength matchup. It's probably going to be Duchesne against Larkin, if Larkin can even play. So that's a question mark. He's traveling with the team. He got hurt last night. I wasn't watching the game, but I just saw on Twitter that Larkin was hurt in some way, shape, or form. He's traveling. Like I said, I would expect him to go. But if he doesn't go, it's not like he's a shutdown defensive center. But, man, like, if he can't go, first of all, the lines would be shaken up. He is probably their best defensive center at this point, and he's their best player. So that would just make me want even more Ottawa, which is scary. But this White line, regardless if they don't play, they're not going to have to deal with Larkin. So that's the important thing. They have good numbers. They generate a lot of chances, high danger chances, which of course I like. And then they're going to see players, like I wrote in the article, they're going to see players like Vanek, Nielsen, Glendening, Athanasiou was bad defensively, Darren Helm. It's just, I don't know how they don't have the advantage over anyone they face. Looked like Larkin pulled a muscle. Okay. I don't know if Larkin's going to play. So if he does, I do actually like Detroit 1 because the Duchesne line's been super high event, and that's going to be their hard match. So it's the Larkin line. It is the Colin White line here for me, and that's really all I'm getting to. But the White line probably going to be up there with Winnipeg 1 and maybe Nashville 1 as my highest exposed lines of the night. So should be fun. Shabbat I like here. Detroit commits a bunch of penalties. You should see some power play time here for Ottawa. They're 10th in the NHL in power play percentage overall. They go up to 7th when you sort by just home ice power play. So a little bit of a bright spot here. They're just better at home. Both of these teams really bad at home. Both of these teams okay. Or I'm sorry, yeah, did I say that right? Both these teams really bad on the road. Both of these teams okay at home. So I almost always side with the home team. Larkin makes it a little bit more difficult. But yeah, all over Ottawa 2 here. So hoping they take me to the promised land tonight. Vegas and Florida. We have Marc-Andre Fleury going up against James Reimer. Fleury and the Knights, 3.1 implied total, 2.9 for the Panthers. I really don't like targeting teams against Vegas. It worked out last night actually, with Carolina. Maybe that Niederreiter line is just really good. The Barkov line, they come up because each of those guys individually create a lot of chances, but you look at their numbers as a whole, and they're just not all that good at generating chances. I don't know why. They should be able to. With Barkov and Dadonov and Vetrano, like 3 guys that are very good offensively. But they're going to see the Carlson, Marchessault, Smith line, and that's not really a matchup I want to attack either way. Trocheck, Huberdeau, and Mulligan, I don't know why they put Mulligan up there. They love playing him with Trocheck. He gets power play 2 time, okay. But the Stastny line's not really one that I love attacking either. So it's just hard to attack Vegas's top 6, in my opinion. The Stastny line giving up well under 50 Corsi against per 60, under 25 scoring chances per 60 as well. So this one kind of a write-off for me. If I was making more lineups, I'd probably have some Vegas 1 exposure. I'd probably even have some Vegas 2 exposure as well. But yeah, in 20 lineups, I'm just not getting too much of anything here. Goalies included. Especially not Reimer. I think he's pretty awful. All right, another one that is going to be quick for me. LA Kings and the Islanders. We have a 5.5 total here. 2.4 of that going to the Kings. 3.1 for the Islanders. 20 lineups tonight for me. Like I said, it's just really tough for me to click on any of these options. Both teams play at a slow pace. not touching the Kings here. I don't care. I don't want to target the Islanders, first of all. They they shut out the Lightning at who had a 3.6 total. I thought that was outrageous going into the Islanders. I should have bet that. It was just a really big total for a team that going up against a team that's played really, really well defensively. I don't know here. Like, I guess the Nelson line, if Kopitar's out, that's a little bit of a boost to the Islanders' offense. So it'd probably be the Nelson line, but they're priced up a little bit. And I like a bunch of lines that are way cheaper than them. Same thing with the Barzell line. Like, I like Barzell. I don't like Josh Bailey, and he's 5,400. Barzell is not a huge goal scorer, and he's almost 7K. So this one is also pretty much a cross-off. I guess Pulak is probably my favorite play here. Or Polak for 5K. I always say his name wrong. Whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. This man right here for 5K. Just a huge shot. And he's the type of guy I like one-offing, even when I don't like the Islanders. All right. Let's talk about a better one here. We've got the St. Louis Blues and the Columbus Blue Jackets. Implied totals here. Looks like 2.8 to the Blues. 3.2 about to the Blue Jackets. Going to be Jake Allen going up against Jonas Korpisalo. I believe Korpisalo was confirmed. I was just looking at Twitter before. But anyways, you'll know this by time you get done watching the show. First of all, is there any other news? Cam Atkinson is in for this game. Let's see. Someone else is out. I can't remember who. Is it Murray that's out? Nudavara's in. I don't know. We don't need to spend time talking about Marcus Nudavara on a 11-game slate. But Atkinson in. Columbus one, I think, is in play. My issue with them is that they're going to see St. Louis's top six. St. Louis has been really good from a Corsi for, Corsi against perspective over the last month or so. They haven't really been a team I want to target. So again, I'm not really getting to a lot of the home team's top line. I almost always get exposure to home team's top line, especially when they're as good as Columbus one is. I just prefer some other lines tonight. So, unfortunately, will not be playing much of Columbus one. I don't know if I'll get to any of them. I think the line that I'd be more likely to play here is St. Louis one. O'Reilly, Tarasenko, and Shen. You just expect this line to be really good. They get power play exposure to O'Reilly and Tarasenko on the top unit. I wish Shen was on the top unit instead of Sundqvist and Maroon. Maybe that switches up, but I just think it's a fair price for them. Plus, you can get Pietrangelo for 5,100, and I don't think they're going to be very owned at all. Whereas I think Columbus one might get some steam here. Seth Jones up to 6,400. I believe he's still playing on that second unit. I don't know if they flip-flopped last game with Werenski. The secondary lines here, I like Bjorkstrand when he's playing in a top six role. He scored a goal last game. I think he would be a guy that I maybe would look to one-off if I wasn't going the three-man stacks. Same thing with Duclair, but I think he's kind of in the doghouse. He got benched for... Did he even come back in? He played like one shift in the first period last game. He couldn't have played more than 10 minutes in that game. Yeah. Okay, so he didn't even come back in. I remember the announcers talking about that. He had a turnover. He might be a scratch. I don't know. Tortorella loves sending messages like that. So scratch whatever I said about Duclair. Talented player, does dumb stuff sometimes. And if you do dumb stuff, you're going to be in the doghouse more often than not, especially with a coach like Tortorella. So, St. Louis 1 is my main target here. And then I don't really love anything on defense outside of Pietrangelo, who I think just goes well with the O'Reilly-Tarasenko combo. Next game, Tampa and the New York Rangers. We have probably going to be Louis Domingue going up against... Let's see. Yeah, I think it's Lundqvist. He's confirmed on your screen. So, we're going to see the Zibanejad line go up against Point, Johnson, Kucherov, and I think people are going to play the Lightning. So looking at their team total, people are going to play the Lightning. It's just a matter of how many, right? 3.6 implied total for the Lightning here, 2.9 about for the Rangers. Everyone's gonna like the Lightning. They're gonna pop in basically everyone's projections except for mine. It seems like when everyone else is on Tampa, they just do not pop for me almost ever. And maybe it's just because they're so efficient with their high danger chances and stuff. And like I want to like this point line, but there's just so many other lines that grade out as better values. Even when Johnson's 4,700, I think they're about the same price as they were last night. Maybe even a little bit more expensive. The Rangers are a huge downgrade defensively from the Islanders. So it's a better matchup for sure. But I think people are just going to fire them up. They'll make up their narratives that, they didn't score last night, so they're going to come out angry. I don't know. I'm not a believer in that. I think the Zibanejad line actually makes for a really good contrarian play. It's a low total. They're at home. But if they're going to see the most time against Point, Kucherov, Johnson, that's not a line I'm worried about defensively. And the Zibanejad line has just been really good. Broke the slate a few days ago. My projections like they definitely like Tampa, especially when they're on the road. They like targeting against Tampa when they're on the road. So I want a few Zibanejad shares here. And Shattenkirk's 4,100 if he's going to be on the top power play. If they might put Pionk up there. I don't know. They've switched around since Pionk has been back. But really do like Rangers 1 here. And I'm looking at a fade here for the Lightning, which is worrisome. But both of these teams have played, so you wouldn't expect anything out of the ordinary as far as, or outside of, normal hockey variants. Both these teams have played, so take that for what you will. But Rangers 1 is going to be my main target here. Just hoping Point, Kucherov, and Johnson don't bury me, or the Lightning power play, which certainly could happen, but that's not where I'm going with my exposure tonight. Probably not going to get to any Lightning. So RIP me. All right, next game here, Dallas and Nashville. Going to be Anton Khudobin going up against Pekka Rinne. Saros started last night. Bishop started last night. So would expect the other goalies to go tonight. Nashville 1 is another home team top line that I think might go a little bit under-owned, or a line that I'm going to make a pretty substantial stand on. They've just been so good. You just look at their numbers. So they're 18-8 on DK. The numbers are outrageous. 224-minute sample. Johansson, Forsberg, Arvidsson at 5 on 5. Score and venue adjusted, of course. 81.8 Corsi 4 per 60. 40 scoring chances, almost 20 high danger chances per 60. Like, you just never see numbers like that being sustained for that big of a sample. And they're probably going to get the Sagan line. I haven't looked a ton to see how that line has been defensively, but I do have the updated numbers. So let me take a quick peek at that. It's not really going to matter for me all that much unless I saw something crazy good defensively. Okay, so 60 minutes for the Sagan line. They're actually pretty good defensively so far. It doesn't matter. I think I would put Nashville 1 in the matchup proof category, especially when they're at home. If they're having trouble, they can get away from this line. That's the benefit you get with last change. Dallas not usually a team I want to target, but again, I'm kind of making an exception here. And this Nashville line has just been so good. I think they're going to come in somewhat low owned. You look at the total for this game, it's another 5.5. So that's going to get people off of it when you've got these big 6.5 totals all over the place. So love Nashville 1. Going to be overweight on them. Just going to try to get overweight on as many good lines as I can tonight. And Nashville 1's going to be one of them. If you can fit Yossi, that is by far my favorite guy on the Preds. I don't know how viable that is. But I think you can, like, this is one of those lines that fits with the Minnesota 2s, the Ottawa 1s, the Detroit 1s, if Larkin plays. So they're not even that difficult to fit in. So I'm hoping I'm right about them being somewhat underowned. Would rather avoid teams going into Nashville. But, I would like to avoid teams going into Nashville. Dallas on the back-to-back. I don't know. I guess it would be the second line for me if I was going anywhere. But Nashville just really solid at home. They're pretty healthy. I'd rather not mess around with them, especially with just 20 lineups tonight. All right, next game. Blackhawks and the Minnesota Wild. Colin Delia going up against Alex Stalock. Blackhawks put up 7 last night. Buried me in many of my tournaments. I was not on them. I was actually really on the Buffalo side, as were a lot of people. So I'm going to double down on being a fish and going to be all over Minnesota here. First of all, I'd really like to see some new lines for Minnesota. Like, this Koivu, Zucker, Granlund line, like, why are you putting Granlund and Zucker with Koivu? I know that, like, they have good numbers, and this is actually my favorite line on Minnesota. So, kind of talking out of both sides of my mouth here. But the Koivu line's going to hard match with Taves, Kane, and Kajula. It's almost guaranteed. They almost always do it when they're at home. So, like, you can look at that two ways. Well, Taves and Kane, they're good offensively. Maybe they spend some extra time in their zone. For me, like, Taves and Kane, for their careers, they just haven't been good defensively together. Throwing Kajula there, he's not going to help causes. And in their short sample, Chicago won. Just brutal defensively. So 46 minutes, so you can't just take it to the bank and say they're the worst defensive line ever, but 38.1 scoring chances against per 60, 17.8 high danger chances against per 60. Again, short sample for just 46 minutes, but like, you wouldn't expect this to be a good line defensively. They're not even generating that many quality chances too. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just stubborn about this line because they crushed me last night. But I would expect the Koivu line here to have some success. They should have no issues generating chances. They're just not the group of the best finishers, especially Koivu and Granlund. So that's worrisome. But man, if they're going to see 12, 13 minutes against the Taves line, which I think they're going to, you just love that matchup, especially for this price. Zucker, I think one of my favorite plays on the entire slate, if you're just talking about one-offs, because he's the one that actually is aggressive. He'll shoot it all the time. Feels like he gets a lot of breakaways as well, and Chicago's just so leaky. Backup goalie, Ward, it doesn't really matter whether it's Ward or Delia. I don't know. It just feels like the Wild should dominate this matchup, but I've been wrong on the Wild all season. I think they're better than what their record indicates, so I will continue to go down this path. Victor Rask got switched off the line last night off Parise and Aberg's line. I don't know what the lines are actually going to look like. I hope somehow we see Stahl with Zucker and Granlund. That would immediately change my tune on the Wild. Like, I like them right now, but I think it would be my favorite spot of the night if they went back to Zucker, Stahl, Granlund. So probably just wishful thinking for me there. They did lose last night, so there is a chance. Can't put Mikko. Yeah, that's true. That's true, John. I mean, right. What else are they gonna do, right? Put him with Coyle though. Like, just swap Koivu and Stahl, right? That wouldn't be too bad. Greenway, Koivu, Coyle, that'd be a pretty big line. Like, that seems more like a shutdown line to me, or at least what Boudreau would think is a shutdown line. So I don't know. It's just nothing was wrong with the Stahl line too, is my issue. They just went away from it for no reason. It would just be such a nut spot against the Wold Blackhawks. who have been winning games lately. Suter, Spurgeon, same conundrum. Spurgeon actually correlates better to this Koivu line because he plays in the unit with Koivu and Zucker, so he's my preferred play there. If you're going to one of these other lines, if you're going to Parisi or Stahl, maybe you want to add in Suter. Suter's just never my favorite play. He's never a guy I really want to recommend too much. And I've got nothing on the Blackhawks side. Just don't want to mess with the Blackhawks tonight. A lot of home teams for me tonight. Vancouver and Colorado, we've got Markstrom going up against Varlamov, at least it appears that's how it's going to be. Both of these teams coming off big layoffs. None of them have played this week, if I remember correctly. Big news here is we've got a Corey Perry coming back tonight. Okay, that's what I see in chat. Yeah, good luck with that one, Anaheim. That's going to save your season. So Colorado won, broken up here, and they're probably going to end up back together at some point during this game. The problem is, or some point in the near future, maybe it's tonight, if they get a couple early goals scored on them, I don't know. They're probably going to spend some time together. I just can't justify paying these prices for Landeskog and Rantanen if I know they're not going to be with McKinnon the whole game. So much more likely to go to McKinnon's line and just hope the scoring goes through McKinnon and his line mates get in on it and they spend some sort of reasonable amount of time together. Because it's cheap exposure to McKinnon, right? Kerfoot and Colin Wilson, those guys both play on the power play. Second unit, so it doesn't really do all that much for you, but Vancouver, it's a good power play spot for Colorado. So if Colorado 1 was together, I would for sure jam in at least 2 out of 20 and just try to hit on one of my filler stacks because they should be able to do damage here on the power play against Vancouver. It's just really hard to rely on that for 23-4 if you try to stack up the big three. So, maybe you go with McKinnon with, take your pick between Landeskog and Rantanen and then take your pick between Kerfoot and Wilson and try to sort of capture some even strength with, 2 out of the 3 best forwards on the power play type of thing. But McKinnon's by far my preferred play if you're just playing one line based on these line rushes, then it would be the McKinnon line super clearly, very, very clearly for me. Yeah, Corey Perry back tonight. Yeah, don't really need to address that one, I don't think, for DFS reasons at least. Tyson Barrie, I really love the spot for him. Like I mentioned, good power play spot. If nothing else, for Colorado here, Barrie would be my guy. Just like I said, Colorado, awesome power play. They ride McKinnon, Landeskog, Rantanen. Barrie plays with them, so assist equity, he does shoot it quite a bit. You can one-off him. You can mini-stack him with McKinnon. I think that would be a really smart play if you're going away from the normal 2 full stacks type of thing. On the other side, if you're going to a line, and I'm not sure I'm going to get here tonight, but just because I haven't finalized my 20 or whatever, we're 6 hours away from lock. Besser, Pettersson, and Goldobin, if that's going to be a line, and I don't know if Vancouver has skated this morning, and I don't remember off the top of my head what their lines were, but that would be the one I want to get to. Just Goldobin, good salary relief with expensive Besser and Pettersson. And then Colorado also commits a ton of penalties. Hoping we get some officials that are friendly for DFS. Maybe our buddy Furman is going to be reffing this. So check out Scouting the Refs later today and see if you can... oh, wait, they've got it. All right, let's see. Let's see who's reffing this game. Where's our buddy Furman? Hopefully he's got an assignment tonight. No Furman that I see so far. Okay, so, all right, the referees and linemen to be determined for this game. So this one, you should know in the next hour or so whether or not we've got some officials that are friendly to DFS, but both these teams commit a lot of penalties. I get the 6.5 total. I'm having trouble trying to attack it, and what I think is the most correct way. I think right now for me, like I said, McKinnon and maybe one of his line mates, and then maybe you go with Rantanen or Landeskog, because it's a good chance they take at least some shifts together, and then you've got the power play correlation, which is what sort of justifies these top prices for the big three for Colorado. And then same thing here. Colorado commits a ton of penalties. Yes, that's probably a little bit of an overprice. That's probably fair for Besser, but he kind of makes it worth it. This line, I don't really have anything, if that's going to be a line. And then again, Tyson Barrie, Edler, man, super expensive, but like floor plays, there should be a lot of shots going around here. Block shots, he should be able to, I don't know if he's going to reach value, but just as a floor play for like 3 or 4 points, probably not much better of a bet than Edler if you take out his price. But that is a really expensive price tag for Edler when I'm not like in love with Vancouver here. All right, last game of the night, then we'll get out of here. We've got a pretty one-sided affair for me. Darcy Kemper going up against Martin Jones. Kemper not confirmed. Jones confirmed. Jones completely overpriced. I don't think you need to go there tonight. But that being said, he should get this win. Both these teams coming off a long layoff. So a little bit wary here, but you've got two lines that are more than viable tonight. So Couture, Meyer, and Pavelski, they haven't had good numbers so far. At least defensively, they've been pretty atrocious in their sample. I don't know exactly how the line matching is going to go here. I don't know that it matters. You're looking for even strength here, and the hurdle line has been incredible. At even strength, people are finally on them. You've got Donskoy on the second unit. That's going to get his ownership up a little bit, but absolutely love Brent Burns here. I don't think we're going to get Erik Karlsson back just yet. I believe San Jose's coach said that he wasn't good enough to skate yesterday, but we'll see how it goes today. So who knows? I'm assuming they're not going to rush back Karlsson. So I'm acting like they're not going to play him. So give me all the Brent Burns for 6,800. Now that I'm thinking of it, I knew there was a reason I didn't love Letang, but I kind of talked myself into it. It's because Burns is 6,800. So just love the spot for him. Yeah, it hurts that Arizona doesn't take a ton of penalties and they've got a great kill, but man, Burns is he's just going to shoot so many times, I think, at even strength here. So he's the guy for me tonight that I'm going to have a ton of exposure to. And then great thing about him is you can pair him with either line. Take your pick. I think I lean to the discount you get on the hurdle line, but I'm going to have exposure to both of these in my 20. Yeah, all the Sharks here. Don't want to target against the Sharks, especially not with Stepan. Like, I don't want to target against the Sharks, but I do like the idea of targeting against Martin Jones, just because he's so bad. Like, a lot of the time he's very bad, and he's always priced up, and people play him. So I'm going to try to avoid playing him for the most part. And that's really all I got on this slate. 11 games, I think pretty straightforward. A lot of home teams for me. Ottawa 2, one of my favorite spots again. Just scrolling through, love Winnipeg 1, love Nashville 1. Those are my two favorite spend-ups. In the mid-tier, both of these San Jose lines I think are really awesome plays. One thing that I'm uncertain of is how I'm going to attack the Colorado-Vancouver spot, and then Minnesota, I think. So, again, probably a lot of the chalk, but that's where I'm going tonight. It feels like I play a lot of chalk, but as long as you get the right lineup construction, I think you're okay playing chalk for the most part, especially on an 11-game slate. So, good luck tonight. Enjoy that $40 10K prize if you do end up hitting it, and we will be back on Monday. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Got a bunch of content on the site for the Super Bowl. Nolan did a little bit of a look at Chipotle Addict's Showdown lineups from the championship week. I'll be playing some Showdown. I'll be throwing 150 bullets into the mini max or whatever they have, and just having some fun that way. But yeah, should be a good weekend of sports. Small slate tomorrow morning before the Super Bowl. So hit me up in Slack if you want to talk about that. I will probably be playing it because I will be doing projections and stuff for it. Good luck, guys, and hit me up in Slack if you got any questions. See you later.